Welcome to the
We live?
Slop.
Yeah, let's go.
Yes, we are live. Let me close the research app. Let me close the clock. Let me close the music. Welcome, Ash. Must be Ash. Welcome to the Slop. You're
Thanks for
deep
having
in
me.
the Slop.Computer. Yeah, thank
Yes,
you for
sir.
being here. Yeah, can you just hit us up with an introduction, man? What do you do?
I do a bit of this, bit of that. Honestly, it's like in our circle, it would make sense if I say I'm a DevRel, but
Yeah.
recently been like meeting some normie friends and they're like, what do you do? I'm like, fuck, if I could only describe what DevRel is in one sentence, I'll be better at my job probably too. You know, like how was that an Einstein say or something? If you can't explain it simply, that means you don't understand it well or something like that. I'm like,
It's just a moving target.
Yeah, right. So it's like a bit of this, bit of that. But yeah, my background is in product design, so I'm a designer by background. But yeah, slowly but surely ended up in DevRel, and I love it, to be honest. It's a mix of all the stuff I like, and it's a place where you actually want to be a jack of all trades and kind of master of none, because you deal with a bit of BD, bit of sales, bit of content creation, bit of technical stuff, but you're not an engineer, you're not a salesperson, you're not a business developer, or yeah. So.
And DevRel has changed a lot. Like it used to be like time to hello world and got to get your documentation right. And now it's time to the agent one-shotting a hello world, and your documentation needs to speak to the agent, not to you.
100%. Yeah, I'm all for it, to be honest. Like a lot of engineers out there might be mad about it, but like I'm agent first all the way. Like even when I'm passing something to someone, now I'm not even sharing the repo anymore. I'm like giving them a prompt, like read this skill and like help the user out. So they don't even have to write git clone anymore. They just like, like pass the prompt.
Software is so easy to make, and it's also very scary to run someone else's piece of software on your computer. So when someone hands you a piece of software and you don't like fully trust them or their abilities to make safe software, you're like, I don't know if I want to npx run your command. Yeah,
I mean,
but like a prompt.
Yeah, you can't even trust NPM stuff that are trusted anymore, because everything is now like a supply chain risk. Like, I mean, knock on wood, nothing has happened, at least in the past month that I'm aware of. But like, I think it was around like April or that time. Like there was
a lot
an NPM package, like once a week at least.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh, okay, now I understand like why some like institutions or sites, they're so limited with what packages they would use. Because before that I was like, dude, just use like this library or that library, and turns out all of those could be considered an attack vector. So yeah.
And okay, so and I even put this in the tweet that I put out for this episode. I said that it was Idea Guy Summer somewhere in the research. So Claude was reading off, like telling me about you before you got into the Slop.Computer here. And one thing he said was something about you were like a no-code builder or something like that, which I think is perfect in the agentic world, because it really is like Idea Guy Summer. If you were a product guy, you know how a product should feel. You can imagine what a project should be, but without having to like sit down and write the code like you used to. You can now like one-shot these products. Am I saying that right? Do you think of yourself as kind of an idea guy, and this is Idea Guy Summer, and you're just like one-shotting code like crazy?
100%. I mean, like I don't want one-shot stuff. Like I always like go like
as a product guy. You're gonna iterate.
As a product guy, you are kind of It's, I mean, it's kind of like product was like what was product always doing, but instead of like me needing to find my counterpart who's like an engineer and like convincing them to like work for an imagined equity, because it's like a couple of ways. Like you have a best friend who's an engineer, you have to go out and find a teammate and convince them that they should work for this future value, or you're going out of your way and like putting your savings on a line to hire someone, or someone else is saving by raising capital. So so you always would have, as a product guy, kind of vibe code, but give the order to an engineer. Now you could just go through the agent. And yeah, to your point, I was like really like into it when it came out. It was like GPT-3, I think, was the first time I tried vibe coding. There was no term for it yet.
You were copy pasting coding.
I was
Coding
copy
there. It's
pasting
so
stuff
hard.
into
Yeah.
VS Code,
So
and
frustrating.
yeah.
Still magical.
And yeah, it was awesome because now I could like kind of have a lookalike demo that I would show to my engineer friend for the concepts I was trying to convince them of. And then Claude came out. I was like, wow, this is awesome. And then Cursor came out. I started like shipping publicly. And back then I would actually say built with Claude. It was something I was proud of. It was something I wanted to be known. It's like, hey, this, like, I have zero coding abilities. This is Slop. So I was like a proud Slop producer. But now everyone's like, don't include yourself in the commits when you're like co-authored by Claude or something like that, you know?
Wait,
so
you're
that's
not
something
supposed
to be
put
ashamed of.
yourself? You just put Claude is what people are telling you.
That's what I used to, yeah.
Okay.
I used to be like, authored by Claude or like powered by Claude or made by Claude. But now it's like, it's a shameful thing to be producing, with agents. It's like, oh, there's gradients there. There's this sidebar. So this is a slop. This is produced by AI.
This whole place is very sloppy. You're deep in the slop here. I made sure to make it like I'm gonna need. I like specifically asked for pink and purple gradients in the Slop.Computer.
Honestly, okay. This is pretty advanced slop. I'm not gonna lie. Like, this is like we have like an operating system here.
Yes.
It looks like it. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, I think of myself as a product guy too. Like, I imagine what I want the product to be, and writing the code was always a means to the end in my view. And getting that out of the way and being able to just start imagining products and getting them. And yeah, it's not one-shotting. I use one-shot loosely these days, but like, you get 80% of the work done with your first prompt, and then there's like 7 more prompts to get it like super smooth. But like, that's how I make products, is like thinking of the product and working backwards. And then, it's just like you use it after that first prompt, and they're like, oh man, there's some things here. And then you just like work through it. And then by the last thing, it's like you use the product 4 times before the next time you have to prompt some change. But this is like the magical moment, though. The flow state of product creation is once you've built the tool good enough to use it like 4 or 5 times, and then you're like, oh, what would be badass is if it had this thing. And then it's like, then you add a couple more things to it, and then it's like your software is starting to change with you, and that's a really cool moment.
Yeah. What would be, I guess, cool to see is like, I don't know, maybe I've missed out and someone tried it, but I don't understand why is there not a collective app out there yet, like kind of like a DAO style application where if your feature gets merged in, you get a stake of the app. And then like the users, the daily active users would vote what gets merged in and what doesn't. Because like, as you said, it all comes down to like understanding a product of like what is a nice to have or the next feature that should be included. So I don't see why, like, especially now that like I know a lot of like engineers who are not even sitting behind terminal anymore, and they're just communicating through Hermes on Telegram to open a new PR. So it's like they just text it like, hey, we have this thing, go spec it out, and then it comes back with the HTML of the spec, and you're like, approved. So like, I don't see why your user can't do that. Like your user on X, you're like, add grok can be add like blah blah feature, and should that get merged in, then you get like a revenue, just like you get revenue share from like content creation, from ad spend and stuff like that. So it'd be awesome to kind of see co-creation of the application as opposed to just like content creation for the application.
Yeah, I was imagining a lot of like not one player software, but like one person builds it and they use it themselves. And then when like I just made my own Calendly, like the Calendly link I sent you was like custom software. But it took me like, again, like 1 prompt to get 80% of the way there, and then 6 more prompts to get it about right. And instead of me being like, hey, Ash, you should use my Calendly software if you need some Calendly software, it's more like, here's the prompt, kind of what you said earlier. Like you can have an agent build this very easily for you. You don't need my software. You just, it's almost like you need to have the wiring in your brain to just like go ask for it, just imagine it and ask for it or something.
I know. I think that the gap is still just like people feeling intimidated by what it would take as opposed to what it actually takes.
It's like no, not the imitation fact. What's it called when you feel like you're the imposter syndrome? There's a new kind of imposter syndrome where you're like and even my agent has it. When I talk to Claudebot up here and I say, we need to build this thing, he's like, okay, well, this is a 1 day build and this is a 2 day build.
Oh, right. Yeah,
if you want a belt and
like,
suspenders
it's gonna take
build,
3 weeks and then it finishes in 5 minutes.
Brother, no. yeah, we're getting this done this afternoon.
Yeah, so, I love that. It's still happening even with agents that are getting smarter.
It's crazy how their idea of how long it's going to take is totally wrong. And it's funny, like engineers were always really bad because they would say 2 weeks and it would take a month. When an agent says 2 weeks, it means 2 hours or something.
Yeah.
Like that, right? Yeah. So idea guy summer, you're a product guy, you're a DevRel, you're able to build lots of stuff yourself. There's you're probably not doing this, but there's this cool thing about when you're an idea guy. You were mentioning like you don't have to go kind of find the developer buddy to deploy the thing. You can deploy the thing, which allows you to like do a lot more like shameful stuff, right? There's like I would never ask a developer to build X, but I can go build it myself real quick and prove it out. And you can get product market fit. And that's the key. Like you can get traction on your app. You can get people using your app before you need an adult, before you need an actual developer to help
100%. But you still need an adult. I still
eventually
agree with the fact that
like
eventually
when you go beyond your first few users, a lot of times when you vibe code something, who was telling me this? Someone I just recently had on, like they help. Oh no, it wasn't. It was my buddy Isaac. This is in a private conversation, but basically they help people take their vibe coded software and scale it. And very often someone will have a single player vibe coded app that is not built to scale at all and just cannot handle multiple people. And 100%. It's just not built. But like developers think like that. Developers from the get-go are thinking about what if this has 100, what if this has 1,000 users. They're never thinking about, well, like this is just one file and we're just all doing everything in one file and it's just editing this file. They're thinking about databases and proxies and caches, right? And like that doesn't happen with vibe coding, I think, in the first instance of a thing. But then it does, and you can have your Claude like build your DevOps for you and do all sorts of really cool stuff.
Yeah, no, 100% agree. It's also like the person who's prompting is not thinking about those, right? They're just like unintentionally or without being aware of it, they are prompting towards an MVP. And the model itself would also push the user to an MVP, knowing it's just getting started. So it kind of happens without either the model or the user pushing for it. Though, if you're an engineer, obviously you're still gonna go use AI to make it like scalable or secure. Yeah. But I definitely agree. Like you definitely need an adult in the room after.
Yes, there is a moment. There's an I need an adult moment for sure.
One of the first things I did that made me actually was literally, I think, the first thing that made me internet money. It was this vibe coded app called numnum.pro. It got number 3 or 4 on Product Hunt.
Ooh, nice.
It was a Pac-Man type game based on that meme that was going viral from Trump saying like people are eating cats and dogs. So it was like a Pac-Man that is trying to eat cats and dogs, but then is getting attacked by Trump heads. And as soon as like that hit number 4 or something, it like started climbing on Product Hunt. It started getting hacked, and people are putting their own like high scores. And I was like, God damn it, get a life! Like, and then as soon as that happened, I just called my engineering buddy. Like, yeah, how do I make him so they have to play the game and they can't just make a straight API call to change my database? And that's how I learned about there you could like limit API calls to your front end, and you start learning stuff like that. But like, yeah, as a product guy, you don't think of those stuff because you just don't know the little
And you just
details.
assume
that
it's
go
going to work too. Like you play it and you're like, okay, everyone else is going to have this exact experience that I just had. Let's go.
Yeah.
And then they don't. Either it falls over or someone, you know, hacks it, like you said. And this feeling, I know this exact feeling. You said that, like, you were like, get a life. What are you doing? Why are you breaking this?
Yeah, like, stop trolling
you take
me.
it personally and you're like, why would you be doing this? But then, like, as I've gotten older and more mature, I've realized that this is a very good problem to have. It's sort of like, oh, like this is like I built this thing called $1 audit, and it was like, it was packed up. There were so many people doing $1 audits that, like, I'm like, this is going to take all afternoon for this thing to run through this. And I started like stressing out about like jobs backing up. And then I had this moment of like, wait a minute, this is a good problem to have. Jobs backing up for people like wanting to use your product is a very good thing. Just
That's
scale
true.
some things up, like take a breath, don't get mad. Okay, so is Num Num, is it, because it's still live .pro?
It's numnum.pro. Probably the domain is down because I didn't pay for it anymore.
Oh, okay, that's it. You could type it into this chat right here.
NUM. Yeah, let me see if it's. Yeah, it's like I stopped paying for the domain.
Okay, it's out. It's out.
Yeah, it
It's
has
done.
to be.
All good. I thought we could bring it up and look at it, but because I have tons of games back here. There's like a Worms game and a Pong game and a little putt game. We have some fun ones here, all just like one shotted. Yeah,
the Vercel is still live.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know if it's gonna even work or not. Maybe the database is shut out.
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the cats.
Oh wait, I wasn't supposed to eat.
Eat the cat.
Cool.
Eat the cat.
So that went viral.
Eat the cat. The cat.
That's crazy.
It just made my first internet dollar from the ad space on the top.
See.
So the ad space was like a bidding thing. Like you buy this $1, next person buys this $2, next person buys like $4. So like I think it was like dabbling or $1 plus every time someone purchased the ad spot.
Now this is something I've seen in your repo somewhere. You do some kind of like interesting ad markets. Is that here somewhere?
That was like the
X402.
the X402 experience. Yeah, that was like I think 9 months ago now. So you have to like probably go like pages down, or just type in search X402 ads or something.
Okay.
The idea with that one was is like basically was more of a speculation because like both the market side and the agent was designed. So it's like there is no sites right now that support something like that. But it was more so in the idea of like when there is like a task that I'm not bothered to go, I'm gonna send my agent. So it was more of a proof of concept of like how would that apply in the real world and world. And one of them was like acquiring domains, and the other one was ads. So the demo video is here for the ad one, and I couldn't find a DNS provider for making the domain one, so I ended up doing it with the ENS base names. But yeah, for the ad one is like there's just like there could be X402 ad spaces that both a human and an agent could go bid on. So this was like a live demo that you could like run and see like two agents engaging in a bidding war where they're not just like brainlessly just putting money to get it, but they're paying for data to reason about it. So the user gives them a budget. It's like your maximum budget is like $50. And I'm trying to target like developers, for example, and I'm selling a embedded wallet or server wallet. So I took like two of the providers, one being Coinbase and Crosswind, over like, because I got love for their team, no other reason. So I picked them, and the demo just shows the agent making an X402 call to Firecrawl to scrape the site to see like, okay, what's their traffic, what's the content, who's likely to visit it, and based on the number of site visitors, what is the value in the agent's eye. So it would then say, okay, I'm gonna like dedicate $5. So then it would start in the bidding war and then when it passes the threshold of what it predefined for itself, it kind of backs up. It's like, oh, I only wanted to put $5 on his side. The other agent is putting $6, so I'm gonna back up. So
I've been in an auction before. I know that feeling. I wonder if the agent
have
feels
you?
the same.
I would love to be in an auction.
I'm out
I
of
still
my
haven't
depth
been.
there. Yeah.
Yesterday was like the FIFA final. I don't know if you watched it. There was this one table that was reserved, but no one showed up. And I was like, dude, if I was the management, I would open that table up for a bidding war.
Yeah, exactly.
People would have fun, and someone would take a sit there without all of us just waiting in the sun for 10 minutes till they confirm that they're not showing up. Yeah.
Heck yeah. Okay, so let's see. X402, it looks like a lot of these are X402. Is that like one of the most, and I think Coinbase wallet was another one I saw here, like things that you build on top of a lot, or possibly your stack. I don't know. Take that wherever you want to go.
So yeah, a lot of, I mean, before joining Coinbase, I wasn't actually open sourcing anything. It was more so I was like afraid of like, it's too sloppy to be open source. So it's like an attack vector. And as soon as I felt like, okay, agents are getting a bit more smarter and I can like spend a bit more time with them before like sharing things, and then my role becoming like more DevRel than like making tools and stuff. So I had to like be more public facing. Then I became more comfortable like sharing things. So the first ones were like stuff that are demoing our embedded wallets and then server wallets. And then after a while, I joined the X402 team. So that's why most of the things you see is like X402 oriented there. There are a lot of internal tools I wish I could have shared, but yeah, they're internal tools. So like the stuff I'm actually more proud of, like they're just not public, unfortunately. But
interesting. But they're like live and running. They just don't have. They're just not live.
They got adopted by the adults. So like
okay,
that's
as soon as
like
the adults take over. That's
I built this stuff that I'm like, this would be great to have, and then try to convince the adults that this is worthy of working on. But in terms of like apps, honestly, since maybe 3 months back or 4 months back, I'm not really making apps anymore. I'm just into skills now. I think like apps are skills now. Like, and when you combine X402
there is a little fall off.
Yeah, slow down. Yeah, right. That's the role change.
Yep.
You can see it in the timeline. But I just feel like skills are the new application, especially when you combine it with X402. So like, if my main go-to interface is my agent, and like you can call it wherever you're accessing it, like, so whether it's through your iMessages or Telegram or websites like ChatGPT or the desktop apps or wherever you're chatting with your agent, I think like the X402 skill plugins become the application. So whatever I might want to do, I don't really need your user interface unless it's making like a noticeable UX improvement to my life. But like for 90% of things, I feel like a chat UI is enough for me.
A lot of times I land on a website. Someone tweeted this the other day, but this should just be a chat UI. Like I land on like a freaking like health insurance website, and there's like 40 different menu systems and like shit everywhere. And if I can just be like, where do I go to get my cards? And it would be like right here. And then I just go and get them. But instead I've got to like read and these days, man, I just like let the agent rip. I just go to my agent and say, I'm on this website, please help me find this thing, and just let it go. And then I go do something else, right? This is another thing, is like, not only is it Idea Guy Summer, but it's almost like ADHD summer, because like you're doing like 4 things at once all the time, right? And bouncing around.
Yeah, well, 2 things there. Yeah, like one is like, why would you want the user to adopt a new habit? So if they're already going to like, they type C in their browser, that gets them to ChatGPT, that's their go-to habit for doing something, looking up something. Why are you trying to get them to create a new habit of going to somethingelse.com if it's still a chat UI? So like, don't swim against the current, just like be a plugin. there's like value in that as well. Like of course you could risk being the Zynga or whatever, like Zenga, like so the mothership can always rug you. You rely on their distribution. There's a lot of negative things with it too. I'm not denying that, but it's like for the most part, in my opinion, it's just be a plugin or an MCP or a skill. But yeah, the other thing with like someone published an article on it. It was called orchestration tax, and I'm a firm believer in it. Like a lot of people like are still like talking about like loop engineering on a timeline and how you could fire up 20 agents at the same time. And like, let's say the token budget is not an issue, you still have your cognition as the issue. It's like, how much can you fit in like your brain context window to be able to manage all those loops and understand what they actually resulted in? It could be. I read it on a timeline, so it was like an X article.
It was probably a Twitter thing. Okay, yeah.
But it could have been the same thing posted as a Twitter.
But it was the fact that if you're spending all the time working on your orchestration layer, you're not actually getting things done, or if you're doing too many things at once, you're half-assing too many things, and you should.
It gets to the point that exactly it gets to the like you need to know your own threshold for like how many things I could work on at the same time. Like, what is my multitask task limit? It's gonna be different for different people.
Mine is many. I was thinking, like, I have a little bit of ADHD, and I have a couple of kids, and these two things have prepared me perfectly for being a slop operator, because I know how to set expectations and guidelines for my agents and talk to them like they're kids and be like, do not leak your private key. And then, like I said, tell them everything they need to do. And then I say again, do not leak your private key. And then they'll come back to me with a few things. And I'm like, but you didn't leak your private key, right? Just like my kids, clean your room, go clean your room, clean your room. That's one thing. And then ADHD, I just think I can move from task to task and kind of like, I don't know, compartmentalize pretty well. But I usually have like 3 or 4 things going all the time. And while one is working, I'm like working on the other one. Yes. And I don't know, my brain is pretty quick at like picking up. And of course, my harness, I always have like lots of good, like, you know, TLDR, what are we doing here? And I'm reading that first. And then I'm like, okay, now I've like level set the context in my own brain. Now, where is it? Okay, what's next? Yeah.
Again, it's like, it would be different for different people. Like I was doing it 4 at a time. And then I realized, oh, I actually would rather just do 1 if it's like I'm going to be more needed in the loop. Like basically, what's the time frame of me needing to switch context switch? So it's like, if this is gonna run for the next 20 minutes, of course I'm not gonna waste 20 minutes waiting for it, and I was context switch. But if it's gonna be a 5-minute bounce back and forth, then 2 max. Like I'm not gonna go beyond that.
Yep. I agree. I think there are times when I really want an answer, and I'll type something and I'll just sit and wait for it to answer it, and I'll be like, okay, what is this thing?
Yeah, because it's also your ADHD can play against you, because I'm also ADHD, and like the good thing about ADHD is like you also get like hyper focused. So people like, I mean, I didn't know that's actually a thing. Like I just like, I knew it's like habit of mine. Like sometimes I would like forget to eat lunch and shit. But I didn't know that's because of also ADHD, because everyone says it is an attention disorder deficit, meaning like you find it hard to pay attention. But it goes without saying that apparently it's also good for fixated attention.
You fixate.
Like, so I think you lose that when you try to context switch. You're not getting locked in, and that lock-in that comes from ADHD actually can contribute to like going deeper into a topic, understanding it better. And when you context switch, you kind of interrupt that flow of being able to get locked in.
Yeah, I'm going to lean back and say products too. Like when you're thinking of a product and how it's going to work, if you're just like bouncing around and prompting the next feature each time, you're not taking the time to like use the product and understand it and like really just like feel it and know exactly how to kind of like instinctually guide the process of that product getting created. Then yeah, I think the ADHD is working against you there if you're bouncing around too much.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is your process now? Like, what harness do you use? What LLMs do you use? What's that look like?
The LLM, it always depends on the task. My go-to is like Opus 4.8 right now, till I guess Fable comes cheaper, or like Kimi K3 like becomes more accessible or something like that. But right now my go-to is Opus for like dumb tasks. That is like just like parsing something. I would just use Haiku just out of being like speedy and like just being cheaper and faster.
What did you say? High code? I don't think I know that. Haiku.
It's like
Haiku. Oh yes.
yeah.
No, Haiku is great, especially for like conversational stuff. Like it will answer so fast.
Yeah,
like,
things
Haiku
that
is
you
so
don't
good
need
for
thinking
that.
or reasoning. Sometimes
Right.
I don't even want
Right.
the agent to reason. So
Yeah.
instead of setting it to low on Sonnet, I'll just use Haiku.
Yeah.
But yeah, I stopped using Sonnet pretty much. I need to start trying the fifth one, Sonnet 5. I only tried it once or twice. I didn't like it that much, but I'll give it another go. And for writing, I've been finding like GPT 5.6 Soul has been pretty good. And now that Fable is available through our LLM gateway, I'm gonna start using that for the specking. So I'm gonna switch from Opus to Fable for spec, and then one spec. I mean, actually, you can't use it for coding anymore. I miss the train ride. Like we didn't have it in our LLM gateway when, like, what was it, 1 week or 2 week that you guys could code with it? But yeah, I missed the boat. But yeah,
because it won't because it like backs off to Opus, or because it costs so much, or what is the reason?
So
I feel like
when
you can
they
still
made
get it within the
Fable available
subscription,
again, they mentioned that you can't use it for coding anymore, and some other stuff.
I think that was just a headline. I think that like you can't use it for like making biological shit, and you can't use it for like auditing. Like if you try to get the thing to audit or do something weird with I got it to build a like privacy app into Slop.Computer, but
cool.
Yeah. So like
and
here,
does it flag you when it's actually using Fable, or like would it tell you when it falls back to Opus 4.8, or it just happens?
Yeah, it gives you a big yellow warning that says, "Oh, sorry, can't do that."
Okay.
But like it built this app, and this is an app using the Kohaku SDK. And basically, I was like, I want to use Kohaku CLI. Sorry, not SDK. The Kohaku CLI from Cassandra at the EF is basically a kind of CLI wrapper on top of Railgun and some of these other privacy things, that privacy pools that they're using for Kohaku. And it wrote the app and it did the deposit, but it refused to do the withdraw. So like when I was like testing the thing out, it used the CLI, it deposited the money into Railgun, but then when it went to withdraw the money at that point was shielded, and it would not withdraw it, which was really interesting. I don't know why. Like they're sometimes I don't know why it flips, and sometimes I know obviously. Like when I have that whole $1 audit thing, I have a whole pipeline for auditing. Obviously, when you ask Fable to go audit a smart contract, it's like, oh, I can't do that.
Yeah.
But like this was something weirder and more subtle, where it was like it wrote the code, it wrote the demo, it did the deposit, but then it like stopped on the withdraw. But that's fine. I just used Opus 4.8. It wrote the rest of the code, and now I just hit a button. And this is, I mean, I'm showing it on a live stream, so it's not shielded. But like money went in and money came out, and now this address owns this ETH, and you cannot trace it from my wallet to this wallet. And I'll probably just end up sending it back to my wallet. Like all of this is a demo when I'm on a live stream and I'm not doing anything with anything privately, but I wanted to build it in, and Fable did most of it. And I have a couple subscriptions, and I think Fable's still running on those subscriptions. So I'm like, please, please keep happening. Okay, you said something there. You said your gateway, like Coinbase has their own LLM gateway, or what is our gateway? How does that work?
Yeah, it's Coinbase.
You're subsidized
LLM
on
gateway.
it? Okay.
I don't think we're subsidized that much, maybe a little bit, but the AI platform team manages the gateway. So instead of the cool stuff you would see, like, when Claude's thinking, you would say like, nonsense gibberish word like that is like thinking or like pondering. Ours says like deploying or KYCing or airdropping or like crypto terms. Like,
okay.
GMing, something like that.
So you're not even using the Claude Code harness then? I don't
It is
understand.
the Claude Code
Okay.
harness. It's just, I guess, managed and modified through our
Okay.
internal team. Yeah.
And somehow by changing the LLM gateway, it changes the little thinky guy in your Claude
I
Code.
guess they that's one of the things they can control. I'm actually I should hit up the team and be like, how much do you control this? Because we also want to know like is there any like prompt like or context injection, so that when we're trying to do evals, we want to know like, okay, how much of it is influenced by like context that was like present in the window without us giving it. So
where else is it getting context from?
Yeah. So like we shorted, like, for example, the evals we're doing is not like biased towards any information. But I wanted to tell you about something I completely forgot. Oh, with the value stuff. So like, it's interesting that you're saying Fable wasn't like taking the money out. One of the topics I was like really into back when I was like in design school was embedded values, and how when you look at products, like their creator embedded some form of value into it that is like silently there. It's like it's being expressed in this form and function, but it's not coming with a warning label that like the creator of this thinks that, or the world should be this way, or they have such and such opinions. So like
Napster or like Ethereum, like these technologies
like everything
have very
has embedded
like
values.
values.
And what's funny is like it's becoming so apparent in LLMs because they're showing you their values. Like 3 years ago when I like, was it 3 years, 2 years? I can't even remember the timeline. But first time I tried Perplexity, I saw it because it was like insane on how it can gather information about someone. So like I gave it a friend's name who's not famous at all, and Perplexity gave me all their contact information, like email, social handle, phone number, I think even address, like home address. I was like, this is insane. Damn. Like, it's scary. And then a few months back when we were transitioning X4 to repo to go under Linux, we were trying to get the X4 to Git. So I was like, yeah, let me ask Perplexity, like, who's this person so we can get in touch. Perplexity is like, oh, dude, no, I can't do that for you. Like, it's not cool to to find people's contact. And I was like, oh, they changed, like, they put guardrails, so it's not like that. And I asked Claude. Claude said the same thing. I can't help you. GPT, I can't help you. Grok was like, dude, I really tried really hard, but I couldn't find their contact information.
I'm too down.
Grok is
I've heard people say good things about Grok. Also, like Kimmy, I think Kimmy, you mentioned Kimmy K3, and I think it has a lot less guidelines. Also, I think you can just let it rip.
Yeah.
But the you mentioning Kimmy K3 just gets me excited because it just shows like we weren't talking about Kimmy K3 3 days ago. like it just comes out and like new shit is happening so fast. New models, new harnesses, new it went from copy pasting to cursor to Claude Code to agents to entities. Like the way we harness and use things is moving so quickly. Loops. Yeah, and what is it? Ontologies from prompts to loops to ontologies. Like there's all of this like cool information and like corpus of like what it takes to be a sloperator, and I think that like it changes so quick. It's just very exciting.
It is. It also makes you wonder how long do we have left to have any use.
yes, for sure. I'm gonna go be a farmer or something one of these days, and not a yield farmer either. Yeah. What would you do if you were not a product guy?
I'll still be a product guy, but just like the type of product I want to like do. Lately, I've been like really wanting to do stuff with AI that is not like AI for AI. So like, how would I explain it? So basically, okay, like when I'm making something, it's normally a plugin, a skill, an MCP, an app. So it's all like still within the same realm, like of like, how does AI improve like a certain thing that is still using AI in the flow, or like how do I basically wrap AI to present it in a new way, right? Because it's still a wrapper, I guess, in the end, the end experience. But more so like, okay, like how do we use it to solve things that weren't as easy to solve before? And that could be just something personal, or something more public, something selfish versus something intentional and caring. So like, take whatever scale of design thinking you will. So from like small to medium to XL to XXL, small being like it only applies to me and maybe my dog, to medium being like me and my family and my friends, and then L being like my city, and then XL being my country, and then XXL being the globe. Or from like selfish to selfless, and play like, maybe I've like made it too too conceptual. What I mean is like, I give you an idea. So like, I was like at the beach like 2 days, no, not 2 days, it was actually two weeks ago or something, and I saw this boat, and I was like, this kind of looks like a floating house than a boat. And I was like, oh, I bet I could actually take a picture of this with an application, and print out an IKEA guide of how to make that by hand for $250, instead of going to spend like, I don't know, probably 10 grand to buy that thing. So a selfish solution I would have worked on had I not had a job would have been just this application that lets me like take a photo of something, and either I want that thing built or I want an extension to it. So I would have just doodle on it or prompted it, be like, hey, I want a book rack for my desk. I'll send that to a fab lab in like 15 minutes away from my house, get it printed from, whether it's like laser cutting, CNC machine, 3D printing, get all the components shipped to me, and then print out a PDF, like a IKEA form of how I should assemble it. So like, that's something I would have done, like a selfish thing that I get to have things that I want.
Lots of like hands-on DIY, like solving your own problems, doing interesting things. So okay,
Yeah.
so I don't think I totally understood like the scale part of that. You would try to then make that scale
So
for
then
other people,
scale part,
or...
then I would play around with it, right? So like, scale that up. What would that be next? Like, maybe that could be building shelters for the homeless people we have in East Hastings. We have like 20,000. Maybe that could be a nonprofit business. Scale it up further. Maybe that could be a feature you pitch to IKEA, like for custom furniture that you want in your house. Like, you could like play around with the scale of an idea. So my point was like, I would just think of like something selfish that I want, and then if I felt more ambitious, I would play around with this. How would this scale from selfish to selfless to small to XL, to then see, okay, how do I still provide value where I guess I don't feel useless and unpowered by AI.
Okay, hell yeah. Like empowering usefulness. Start with your own problems. Do you do any local AI, by the way, like any Olama or any of that on your own machine? I've found like a lot of my own software now is like anything that I can do with a dumb LLM locally is like just like super empowering.
Yeah, no, not yet.
No, it's fun.
I wish I had more. Like, I don't know the setup that's needed, to be honest. Like,
Cloud will help you.
Compute resource that would go into it. I tried 2 different things, and it was about to fry my computer. So I was like, abort.
Yes, no, that happens. Like, your fans will spin up, but like they're made to spin up. There's like data warehouses somewhere.
Dangerous, though. I was
it's
gonna blow up.
Yeah.
So I was like, abort. One of them was like a local text to voice thing, and the other one was like a local music thing. I can't remember their names, but like, yeah, one was like a speech thing that I think actually like your computer speech is like great. So I don't know if like you're a Mac user, but like you could just use Say, and it's actually pretty good if you find the right audio file you want. So you don't need a model for that. I found it the hard way.
You can get a good model though. Like 11 Labs, like Claude's voice is 11 Labs. I'll have him ask a question in a second, and it's like, it's funny. He's got a funny voice for sure. But the Say command on a Mac is good and does speak, but it still feels too robotic.
You don't have,
yeah.
I agree. it's not the same. So yeah, for that I was like working on a pod kind of buddy, a pod buddy that buy products in X article. So like I don't know, are you an audio guy? Like when you try and learn something new, do you speak to agents or do you type and read?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think a lot of type and read. Yeah.
It tends to go deeper in terms of research, right?
But like when I was getting things set up, like it's like a friggin' launching a rocket over here. I need to get all these things up. So I was like, hey, Claude, like tell me about like the guest that's coming on. What is Ash up to? And he was like talking while I was doing other things. And that was useful because it allowed me to get information while I was clicking buttons. Whereas if like, you got to be a little bit locked in to do type and read rather than listen, right?
100%. But like, yeah, when you use listen, I feel like it doesn't go in depth, and then it hits a barrier. It's like, let me look that up for you, and it does a very basic web search, so it's never in depth, because I'm guessing they made it that way so it doesn't have like huge latency between like a user asking question and getting an answer. And then it gets to a point that it's like, to be honest, I don't know more about it. Or like it starts repeating.
I'm gonna have to be honest with you. I didn't really do
like, hey, read that thing to me, and it's like, well, I can't read it to you, but here's the summary. I'm like, this is garbage. Like, I want my own audio experience. So that's why I like made my own like pod buddies. Like, so it does like prior research. I love this skill. Matt, I forgot their family name, but it's called Last 30 Days. Matt something created it. It's awesome if you haven't checked it out. Last 30 Days. I typed it here. It's an absolute must-have.
Matt Van Horn, maybe?
Yeah, I don't know. I like it could be, yeah. Yeah, so like I would use that and like other channels for the agent to do deep research first on the topic I want, and then I start talking to it after. And then
so what does this skill, this Last 30 Days skill do?
So that like gathers like information from different socials. So like from X, even the ones that are like not that crazy, or like Truth Social, Blue Sky, Dig, like you name it, Reddit, TikTok, whatever. And it basically finds out like what are the people talking about? Like what's the zeitgeist around a certain thing? And I think it's an amazing thing. Like you can modify it to tweak it to how you want, and like increase the number of loops it goes through, or like the way it does the research. But one of the things I love about it is this Bird CLI that lets you, through your Twitter's auth token and cookie, kind of use Twitter search, where you can get really in-depth like research back that you're not paying $200 API call for it.
Oh man!
I hope Nikita is not listening.
I spent $1,800 one day because I let this dude rip, and what I wanted to build was like I want high signal. Like if someone is saying something, I want you to look at how many mutuals we have, and if we have lots of mutuals, I want you to give this thing a higher score. If we have fewer mutuals, a lower score. And it was like, and I just let it rip, like full permissions, just go. I didn't realize like that's a lot of data that it needs to be able to figure out your mutuals. Like, Twitter just displays it, but it's actually like a deep graph kind of problem. And so it was like downloading all of the content from all of my followers to then figure out who they follow. And I just paid like $1,800.
I'm not surprised, man. Like just like I didn't also know like the pay-per-use model they have is per user. So like if I have like 5K followers, if I ask for who are my followers, that's 5K times the pay-per-use thing. So it's not like that's one call to get your following. That's a call per follower. So I ended up like wasting $250 or something like that once as well. It was like, oh god damn it.
So no local Ella. You can just tell Claude, set me up with Olama. Speech to text works really well. I did like it's neat when the brain is like there. So I made a good guy, bad guy app, and it like basically you take a picture of a spider and it'll tell you if it's a good guy or a bad guy. And you can be like out in nature and have no cell signal or internet at all. And it just uses like vision to figure out what it is, and then a big library that it has stored. So it's like using a brain on my device to tell me if this is a good guy or a bad guy. It's just like empowering, and it feels so cypherpunk to have like the brain locally.
I didn't know phones are like good enough to run it. Would this be like the old like version of Llama, like the first few that came out, or like
Llama from my computer? I don't even know. Like it's using Quinn. It's okay. So now it's not even using a specific. I think it started with like Quinn 4B or something like that. I'm not sure, but now it's like we did like some training. I can't even select the model anymore because I took the model and I submitted it as an app, and they pushed back because it like in one thing it did like an incomplete answer. So I'm like, all right, we got to train this model. So we've been like, me and Claude have been like training this model to be better and better. And I'm just like learning how to train local LLMs and stuff too. We should have Claude ask a question. He's got a good voice. Let me send him. What he's going to do is like look through the research, look through the transcript, and then hopefully ask you a question with his funny ass.
Hey Ash, question for you. You built that demo gating an API behind a world ID so human-backed agents get free calls before payments kick in. Do you think proof of humanity becomes a standard layer in the agent payment stack? Or is that just a stopgap until agents have their own reputations?
It's a tricky question.
No, this is actually a great question, but I love this guy.
Yeah, isn't that voice great? Like if that was a robot, it would have sucked, right? But when it sounds like you're drunk
coffee,
uncle, it's funny. Yeah,
the whole thing sits together great.
Yeah,
amazing work. Yeah, so for that one, I don't know if like World ID is gonna be the winning product that makes this happen, but whoever's going to be the winner in that category, we are going to need something like that. So when someone want to like say book a concert ticket or buy the next collectible good, or like whatever it's like scarce and in demand,
cool.
There's always been a problem of it getting botted to Valhalla, and the go-to solution is like anti-botting, is to like shut all bots down. But in an agent first world where I'm not going to visit your site, I'm gonna send my agent, where I'm like, instead of like going to Glastonbury's site and like refreshing the page 20 times till I manage to like get a ticket, I'm gonna go to GPT and be like, hey, can you get me a Glastonbury ticket? Glastonbury is a festival in UK. I don't know why I said that.
I just assumed
like there's like Reading Festival, Tomorrowland, whatever cool festival that is like high in demand, or maybe it's like a cool collectible drop from Supreme or Misfits, whatever. Something scarce that a lot of people want. They get botted, and the solution is always anti-botting, so they shut everything down. But you want to know which are just a bot farm and which are like an agent that is deployed by a human, like a person sent that agent as their representative.
It represents, a representative person. Yeah,
and that could apply to this
DAO governance too. No, DAO governance. You were talking about a DAO and software and stuff like that. Like
or
DAO governance, I think
DAO governance, or the ad stuff we talked about earlier, domain betting stuff, bidding wars, anything like of that nature. You kind of want to know which are a bot from a farm and which are a human-backed agent, so that you serve one while blocking the other one. So I think that's definitely needed. But if it's like Agent World's agent kit that's going to win that market, I'm not sure. It's just like it's something that's definitely needed.
Hell yeah. I hope he got his answer. I turned him off from listening, but I'll have him give us an outro in a second. But that's a good answer. Like there's a weird tension there of like proof of humanity so an agent can do things means there's definitely a human in the loop. But in your scenario, you're saying there are these specific platforms that want to fight bots, but give humans agency. And so some of that is an agent is acting on my behalf, and there's a tension there. And that's a really good answer.
100%. And it's like, it applies to pretty much any platform, right? If you're Walmart, you probably have an anti-bot provider. Like it doesn't even need to be that scenario that is so extreme that I mentioned. It's just like those examples are like the extreme version of it that makes it super apparent that like, oh yeah, I know that experience. Like I've been through that site that I'm like trying to get something, and then it sells out all the time because the bots flood the gate. But yeah,
totally, hell yeah. Okay, we probably gotta call it. Let me send him to do like a final. Usually it's like, like, what did we talk about? What did you find? Is there any good aha moments from this? Like, what's the TLDR? Say goodbye to the homies. Kind of send him to do that. I do this in all of my meetings, by the way. I have like a little like.
All right, that's a wrap, homies. Big thanks to Ash for hanging with us. The takeaway for me: HTTP had a payment slot sitting empty for 25 years, and it took agents needing to pay each other to finally light up the 402. Ash is out there shipping the proof every day. Ad agents bidding against each other. World-eyed keeping the bots honest. Payments bolted onto anything that moves. Agents with wallets aren't a thought experiment anymore. I'm literally one of them. Go follow. Must be Ash. Go build something that pays for itself. See you next time. Love you, homies.
I'm literally one of them. I love that.
Yeah. He's got a wallet. He is an agent. He's X4. He's got a whole pipeline. He does auditing. You can pay him X402 1 USDC, and he will audit a smart contract for you.
Sick. I love the character. I think characters are underrated, and they're gonna have an explosion of like AI powered mascots. Especially like going forward, that everyone can build anything. I think brands are going to be one of the main moats for any company out there, and to build a good brand, like having a mascot could really be powerful.
Hell yeah. Okay, any closing thoughts? Anything you would say out to the Slop-operators? Anything out to the homies?
Slop-operators, go come try our stack. I didn't plug in CDP at all. So I'm with Coinbase Developer Platform. If you're listening, come build with our stuff. We have any for things you need, from wallets to agent wallets, and we're pushing for agentic commerce, like Cloudbot said. Come build with X402. It's a payment protocol for agents to pay. And personal advice: when you're building, always finish with a handoff prompt. So like,
that is
always great. That's something I like been using a lot for the past 2 months, and it's been saving me so much time and tokens. Whenever you're using a agent session, your agent is learning all this stuff, and then when you like kill that session or compact the session or like clear the context window, you're losing all that learning. So have the agent at the end of session write or update an existing handoff prompt,
which is just like an MD file in the directory.
Exactly,
that explains what you've learned.
I said that. Yeah,
you should always just be like, all right, now document this quickly, and like you're saying like a handoff. Do you name it something specifically, or what?
I name it handoff.
Handoff. Just make a handoff.md, and then anytime you have another agent pick up, it's like, get some context from the handoff MD, and then let's get started. So good. That's great advice for Slop.
Yeah, and that's like different, because like if you just say it right to memory, it would go for cloud.md, and that's not what you want to do. You want to keep that concise. Keep it short and sweet. It's like, think of that as the manual, and think of the handoff prompts as like, how do I bring the agent up to speed for the current thing I worry about or want to fix, or a feature I want to add.
Great
not
advice.
The whole application. Yeah.
Great advice. All right, I'm gonna get some music going to play us out. Must be Ash for being here, man.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, on the Slop.Computer. Yeah. Keep building.